Lumo and the Heart of the Stars. On a tiny asteroid floating in a sea of violet space lived Lumo, a small being made of soft golden light. Lumo's world was so small that a single step could take them halfway around it. In the very center grew a single glowing flower with petals like spun silk. Lumo spent every morning polishing the stardust from its leaves and every evening whispering stories to its buds. It was a fragile life, but a bright one. The flower was beautiful, but it was also very proud. One day, it sighed and said, "I am the only one of my kind, and you are just a gardener. What lies beyond our tiny rock?" Lumo felt a tug of curiosity in their chest. With a heavy heart and a small satchel of stardust, Lumo caught the tail of a passing comet. "I will find out what truly matters," Lumo promised, waving goodbye as the tiny world shrank into a golden dot. Lumo's first stop was a planet of sharp angles and iron towers. There they met Commander Vex, an adult in a stiff gray uniform who spent all day barking orders at the clouds. "Left, right, formation," Vex shouted, waving a heavy baton. When Lumo asked why, Vex didn't even look down. "Control is everything. If I don't command the sky, it might do something unexpected." Lumo realized that Vex was too busy ruling the world to actually see it. On a world made of mirrors and neon lights, Lumo found the Grand Star. This person wore a suit made of sequins and stood on a stage that never stopped rotating. "Am I not the most radiant thing you have ever seen?" the Grand Star asked, striking a pose. Lumo tried to speak, but the Grand Star only wanted to hear the sound of applause. Lumo saw that beneath the glitter, the Grand Star was very lonely, for they only loved their own reflection. Lumo traveled next to a world that smelled of ink and old paper. Here lived the Counter, a man hunched over a mountain of pebbles, marking numbers into a giant ledger. 4,000,000,001, 4,000,000,002, he muttered. When Lumo invited him to watch the sunset, the Counter growled, "I have no time for sunsets. I am a serious person doing serious work. These pebbles are mine because I counted them first." Lumo left, saddened that someone could own so much and enjoy so little. Finally, Lumo landed on a vast blue-green planet. They found themselves in a wide desert where the sand stretched like a golden ocean. Near a broken flying machine, Lumo met Jace, a traveler with grease on their face and sadness in their eyes. Jace was trying to fix a heavy engine, but their hands were shaking. "I'm lost," Jace whispered, "and the desert is so empty." Lumo sat beside Jace and began to glow a little brighter. "It isn't empty," Lumo said softly. "Look at the way the wind carves the dunes. Look at the shadows turning into velvet." Jace stopped working and looked up. For the first time in years, the traveler didn't see a breakdown or a problem. They saw the magic of the wild open space. "You see things differently," Jace marveled, finally smiling. "You see with wonder." As Lumo prepared to leave the desert, a sleek, copper-furred creature named Inari stepped out from behind a cactus. Inari had eyes that looked like they had seen the beginning of time. "You are looking for what matters," Inari said, her voice like the rustle of leaves. "But you cannot see it with your eyes. To be connected to something is to be responsible for it. It is the invisible bonds of friendship that give life its color." Lumo thought of their tiny planet and the proud, silk-petaled flower. "My flower is just one flower," Lumo told Inari. "I saw a garden earlier with thousands just like it." Inari shook her head. "No, it is the time you have wasted for your flower that makes your flower so important. To you, she is the only flower in the universe because you loved her." Lumo's glow pulsed with a sudden, sharp clarity. They knew it was time to go home. Lumo returned to the tiny asteroid on the back of a shooting star. The flower was waiting, looking a bit dusty but still beautiful. Lumo didn't just see a plant anymore. They saw all the mornings they had spent together and all the stories they had shared. Lumo leaned down and hugged the flower gently. "I've been to many worlds," Lumo whispered, "but none of them are as big as the love I have for you."